that last year. They came out of nowhere. People didn't really expect them to be able to take down UBC and UCI, but they did. They became the Western champions, and they really do want to prove it here, especially with the team they've made only minor changes to.
Yeah, I believe minor changes only being in the mid lane, from my understanding. The coach is still the same. In fact, he was on the second episode of Ward Up. Go onto YouTube, check that one out. We'll plug that in just a moment. But he was on the second episode. Tickmith, I believe, is the only one actually changing from last year's roster. Gold Jet, Frozen Knight, Pneumatic, JL, very familiar with this with their synergy thus far. Tickmith, from what I understand, has fit in quite nicely.
Yes, he has. But as we talk about all this, the teams have gotten away in the champion select. And something I just want to really hit on really quick is UCI clearly have done their research on Simon Fraser. Because if you look over to Frozen Knight, his champion history has been Sejuani and Zac. That's where he's had the best performances. Though we're on 8.4 now, and there's been a lot of changes to the meta, more of these assassin, even carry type junglers that Youngbin loves to go for are going to be more thriving. They still want to make sure that Frozen Knight is a little bit less comfortable.
Yeah, and they want to pick out somebody here, and yeah, that one, yeah, like you said, Frozen Knight taking out two, though. Sion, the first one picked over on Captain Nuke. Let's get a little bit into UCI's roster. Youngbin, Latman, Bloodwater, very familiar. Some people also recognize Desecration and Captain Nuke. Very high-profile names for a collegiate team, if you want to go that route, because they all have some sort of post collegiate experience. Some of them with LCS, a little bit. Some of them with more of the high caliber amateur teams. So a lot of power on the side of UCI. But again, on the other side, please pick Fiddlesticks. He did not.
Oh, he's just hovering it to mess with you, Pekkas. He's like, I know that you love your Fiddlesticks, so I'm going to hover this, let you think that I'm going for it, but instead going to go for the much stronger Skarner, who's so thriving in this meta right now. The pick potential that he provides, especially with a Camille on his back. They can easily get into the backline, take out Latman or Descriptin, depending on what they go for. But it really is going to be up to whether or not they're able to play around this Talia pick they just got for Tickmith.
Yeah, Talia is going to be a nice pickup in the mid lane. Talia has seen a little bit of play lately, and some very high caliber play too. Been very wise pick with the Talia for the past few weeks in collegiate. Haven't quite seen it so much in the LCS. I believe it's picked a couple times, but not a big meta pick. But in collegiate, it has made its rounds. And yeah, I do like the Skarner. That one is a pick that's been coming in on all levels of play right now. Take the Predator with Skarner, just get right in your face and put him on a stinger, bring him back to your team. That one is going to be interesting. Very excited to see how that one goes. But you're talking about getting to the backlines with Camille and Skarner. There's a lot to get through. You have a Sion, you have a Volibear. Volibear, by the way, we haven't even touched on that.
But I was saving that for a little bit.
You also have Tom Kinch. There's a lot to get through right now if you're Simon Fraser.
Exactly, but the thing is, like I said, I was waiting for the Volibear because I wanted to see what they would go for the mid lane with that for Simon Fraser. But the problem for them right now is they have Camille, top lane, who's actually countered by Volibear. The changes to him made him a lot more powerful to people who want to try to dive back. The dash that she provides only throws herself up in the air, so he's going to have increased damage onto her. Plus, he's going to go Predator as well, similar to how Skarner wants to go. So he's going to try to go back onto the back line, try to see if he can toss Tickmith, try to see if he can get on a Pneumatic, and throw them right into his team.
Yeah, and that is going to depend on who they pick up mid, if they can burst somebody whenever they do that. We haven't got a mid lane pick yet. We do have the support and the front line of the jungle and the top lane. We're going to see what Latman picks. That would be a Varus, so going for some of that high damage burst with those blighted marks.
Yeah, trying to see if they can easily set up the Wombo combo, the CC train.
They got it.
Send in Sion, send in Volibear, you got Varus behind it, and then that Orianna, the Shockwave. If they're able to pick off Tickmith or Pneumatic, there's nowhere they're going to survive that Wombo combo burst damage.
Now, that is a lot to coordinate, but if they can do it, that will be a huge play in their favor. And let's talk about the patch right now, because with the team comp that UCI is bringing right now, about a week or so ago, that would have been a team that they said, okay, we can last 50 minutes and probably beyond, and we get these 50 to 60 minute games. That's not going to be a huge case right now because Baron was empowered. He got buffed in this patch. We are on the was it 8.4? Yeah, yep. 8.4. I forgot the first digit there. But yeah, we're on the 8.4 patch now, so that is going to affect the gameplay quite a bit here.
Yeah, the thing is, though, Volibear, normally before, you would have said, oh, he's late game. He wants to see if he can survive because he's going to get super tanky. Same with Tom Kench, Sion. They're going to be a lot tankier. But the thing is, with how they've changed Volibear, he has a lot more damage early game. A lot of high base values that he's able to actually burst people out. So he's going to go for that Predator. He's going to try to see if he can get onto the back line. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him go for more ganks than we see Frozen Knight go for in the early stages of the game, trying to see if they can pick off Golden Jet, Tech Myth, or Pneumatic.
Yeah, and of course you do want to. Yeah, typically you see a Skarner. If you ever see him in solo queue, you're like, I'm farming till 6 guys, and then they end up finally getting his ult, and then making a big difference. Collegiate, you do see a little bit of ganks early on because that is just how you're supposed to do it solo queue. Yes. But it is okay. But yeah, Volibear, that one's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to see that one. But on the back lines though, Varus, he is going to be very well protected with that Tom Kinch right next to him.
He's going to be well protected, but you got to imagine Frozen Knight realizes that. He's not going to have Latman as his primary focus. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go for the Impale onto Youngbin consistently, try to throw him out and make it so they don't have that wombo combo. There's no way that Volibear can use the Predator, probably Righteous Glory, go into the backline, throw someone off balance. He's just going to be like, no, you're not doing that. You're not allowed to come anywhere near my carries. Thank you very much. And then Golden Jet instead is going to be the one to jump back, use the Hex Tech ultimatum, because when you use that, Tom Kench can't save you from that. You can't pull someone out once they've gotten the ult from the Camille.
Yeah, and that is the big benefit of the Camille, just locking them in there, making sure they have nowhere to go. Varus, that's already going to be a big problem for him because he already has no way of escaping anything besides a flash, and then you have Orianna kind of the same way. But Tom Kench is going to help a little bit with that. But if Simon Fraser, they can get their idea of a comp here, with the Skarner and the Camille going, that is going to help them out a lot. Not to mention, if there is a Wombo dive from UCI, they actually do have Taric. We haven't talked too much about Taric. They do have the Cosmic Radiance to back them up.
Exactly, and that's the last thing for Simon Fraser that really does round out their composition really nicely. Gives him a little bit of that mid and late game, so if the game does kind of trek onto the 35-40 minute mark, he's going to be even more useful because that Cosmic Radiance, once it drops down, gives anybody the tanky stats that they need, and Golden Jet's going to consistently be wanting to jump onto the backline anyways. The longer he survives means the more damage he's able to get down, which means the easier it is for Simon Fraser to clean up after that.
Yeah, very much so. And we're going to see how that one works out in just a few moments. Want to give a shout out real quick to our lovely social medias. Discord, you can type exclamation point Discord in the chat and join our Discord community, have a voice, have your voice heard, things like that. And of course, always have that camaraderie of just Collegiate League of Legends. You can also follow, you can also follow us on Twitter at CStarLeague and CSLLOL. That's CStarLeague if you just want the overall presence of collegiate esports in your life. But if you just want Collegiate League of Legends, CSLLOL is where it's at. And you can also look at our VODs on YouTube. We put all of our VODs onto our YouTube, youtube.com/user/CStarLeague. And any episodes of the quad, Ward Up, any matches you missed, they will be put on there. And we're going to give one last shout out to Twitch because they have been here from the beginning. We wouldn't be here without them. They are the largest streaming platform in North America. Thank you for being with us. You can follow them on Twitter as well at twitter.com/Twitch and facebook.com/Twitch. I think I forgot to shout out our Facebook possibly too. Facebook.com/CStarLeague. Follow us there too.
Does anyone use Facebook anymore?
I try not to. I have to for work, but I really don't.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, Twitter definitely. I'm like, I know all over that place. You got to make sure that you follow people. Give us a huge shout out over there. I'm just like, do people use Facebook anymore? I'm trying to think about that.
Yeah, it's one of those evils that it's kind
of always stays there. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I love looking at this part of the screen. I don't know if everyone gets to see this. Is looking at the loading screen just because you have an idea of the keystones being taken. And one thing I just want to hit on really quick is Youngbin going for the Aftershock as opposed to going for the Predator or the Press of the Attack that he actually has been well known to take on tanks regardless of who it is.
Yeah, that one is going to be interesting. Predator has been very prevalent, I should say. Coming up with these in-your-face engage. I'm interested to see both of these junglers in a combination together because, I mean, you have two of them with the exact same style. They're both going to run up in your face and do something to you. They don't have a gap closer besides the flash.
This is true. But, I mean, you got the Predator coming in from First Night, so he's going to be a very fast Scorpion, try to run down anybody. Very immobile backline as well. Descritin on Orianna, Latman on Vars. They're not going to be able to dodge away quite as easily. They're going to have to rely on Youngbin, Captain Nuke, and Bloodwater to be able to peel for them. Like I mentioned, I'd be very hard-pressed to actually see Frozen Knight try to go for the backline unless they start getting a lead early into the game.
Yeah, very much so. Definitely going to look for picks, though, because that is one of Skarner's specialties. And you have Tickmith with the Weaver's Wall be able to cut anybody off. Or just, in general, whatever Talia does to you is able to cut you off because she can create a zone and completely zone you out of a team fight, especially if you get in those enclosed spaces. And that is something that I think Simon Fraser, they may be looking for with this sort of... I mean, they do have quite a good pick on their team.
Oh yeah, they have amazing pick potential. You got Skarner, you even have Tarek, who's Dazzle, if he connects onto the right people with the Skarner in line. They're going to be able to take down Latman and Descrimton pretty easily. Biggest problem is going to be the amount of peel potential coming in from UCI. It's just going to be who strikes first and how. I really want to see Simon Fraser try to see if they can put the pressure on early enough into the game without falling down quickly, because like I said, Youngbin probably going to look for early ganks.
Yeah, we're going to see how that one works out, as both of the junglers are mirroring their respective paths here, so they're going to be working their way to the bottom, to the top. Nothing too fancy here. Going to be seeing a gank around 3-minute mark onto Gold Jet or Captain Nuke, depending on who gets there first. I do believe... I think Skarner does have slightly the faster wave clear. I know it's a pretty quick wave clear, and they're both doing their secondary buffs or the secondary junglers with the Raptors and the Wolves respectively. But Frozen Knight not going for his red, actually looking for an invade here.
I think this is smart, honestly. You want to see if you can put down Youngbin. This is a guy who's been touted as one of the big carries for UCI. Like I mentioned, when he goes for the tanks, it doesn't matter. He used to go for nothing but press the attack just so he can have more damage. So, trying to make sure that you keep him in line so he's not going to be the carry force that you want for the team. That's a really nice move coming in from Simon Fraser.
And they brought Gold Jet down as well, so that means this is more than likely going to be... I'm actually going to switch to the camera goes over there. Who got the buff? It is actually Frozen Knight that gets it. Young Ben, he is going down. Actually has to blow his flash. His passive is popped, so he's going to stay healthy at least. But there was no backup from Captain Nuke. Very nicely played by Frozen Knight, Gold Jet, Simon Fraser. They got a flash and the blue buff.
And it was all based off how the waves were pushing. Captain Nuke was getting shoved in by Golden Jet. Camille, considered the strongest top laner in the meta right now after the nerfs that came in for a lot of people. Gnar, Gangplank, all hitting pretty hard. And then even mid lane, Techmith, he's got the minion dematerializer, so he's going to easily shove in Descrimton, who does not have that. So pretty much was telegraphed they were going to be able to get that pretty easily, and losing the flash for Youngbin, huge loss for UCI.
And that is something that was SFU's almost trademark last year when they, I don't know if they meant to debut it or how it went, but either way, history is what it is. It got debuted during their game against UBC last year, University of British Columbia, where they had exceptional wave control coming into the late game, and they seem to have worked on that, saw that there was something magical there, and it's, so far, even at the first 3 minutes of the game, playing up very nicely to that one, able to take advantage of that into the top lane, and yeah, secure a little bit of an early lead in that jungle.
Youngbin's got to do something to get himself back into this game, though. He's got to see if he can go for an invade himself or try to get a gank, especially with a lot of these shoving lanes from Simon Fraser, who are doing a great job at making sure to shove and back off. They're never putting themselves at risk of getting caught out, and Youngbin, he's at a loss of what he actually wants to do at the moment.
Yeah, he doesn't have too much to go for. I mean, the Tickmith was shoving up a little bit, but it was just to shove the wave and go back. Has a dematerializer, actually can shove quite heavily, quite fast. And now there are some new items, so you don't have to back at a certain once you get the Neely's Large Rod Gold, you can actually back a little bit earlier and get those earlier earlier items for a little bit more utility, like the Fiendish Codex, or not the Fiendish Codex, the Lost Chapter. Thank you. Going into Luden's Echo, which is very popular right now. So yeah, very nicely played in the mid lane by Tickmith. Again, not gonna shove himself up too far. Doesn't have too much vision around him, knows that, so just going to go back. Meanwhile, we were talking about the top lane. Gold Jet, he actually needs to be careful.
Oh, flash coming in.
But it's not going to get the kill. That was a flash by Captain Nuke, and that was a wasted flash overall. Gold Jet, he's going to go back and stay safe.
Captain Nuke should have held onto that flash. He forgot that the shield does have a little bit of a channel duration, that once you pop the shield, you can't instantly pop it for that damage. And he even realized that too.
Hold on, Tickmith. He is going to engage onto Young Ben here. Young Ben has no backup once again. UCI's lane's not quite helping the jungler here, but I think Young Ben just wants to throw Tickmith around, get his health bar a little bit lower for Desecration to possibly sneak in an ult there whenever they get level 6.
Trying to get something a little bit more. I mean, now that Talia has level 6 yet, you're right. Probably going to see a roam coming in pretty soon, especially with Frozen Knight. Try to see if they can pick off Flatman or Descrimton. Try to get the flash, the heals out of them, so a little bit more difficult. But at the same time, it's going to be all dependent on the wards coming in from these laners. You even see Captain Nuke, he placed down a really nice ward now that he's lost his flash. Not gonna have that easy escape anymore from the Skarner.
Right, yeah, he only has his ultimate to escape now, which he is level 6, but you want to use that forward engagement whenever Young Ben makes his way top lane. We're going to see how that one goes. As Frozen Knight, he is around the top side. Young Ben not too far off either, so we may be seeing a skirmish, but so far, approaching 6.5 minutes, there are still no kills in this game, and it's relatively pretty even. There's no lanes really accelerating themselves as far as farm. In fact, it's the biggest difference is in the jungle, Frozen Knight against Young Ben.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to mention. It's about a level and a half discrepancy between the two. Frozen Knight doing an excellent job at maintaining this Volibear into the early game, when Volibear is considered to have one of his peaks in his power, going for these early ganks, the Rolling Thunders, to catch people off guard, go for something a little bit early, but Frozen Knight, he's just scaling up, getting to that ability when he has the Impale, and going to be able to pick off consistent members of UCI.
He does have that Predator available too. Let's keep that in mind because he can pop that and charge very quickly into somebody's face. If anything, get a flash and then just do it all again because the Predator's cooldown is a lot lower than Flash. Goldjet going to be trading up on the top side against Captain Nuke. Not too much to report there. In fact, he is level 6. Both of them are have their ultimates now. Actually, Captain Nuke does have a little bit of the experience advantage, it looks like, but there's a big wave inside of Goldjet. Other than that, still a very even game. Not much to tell, but the the CS lead is slowly creeping in the favor of Captain Nuke because he keeps Goldjet completely shoved in that top side.
Going to equalize the jungle discrepancy. Since Young Ben's so far behind Frozen Knight, you need someone to be getting ahead, and at least it's Captain Nuke who's maintaining this Camille, something that can get very scary later into the game. Even if this game drags on to the 20-30 minute mark, that's when Captain Nuke is going to have a little bit of a difficult time into Golden Jet, so gotta try to see if you can bring him in early.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we're not seeing a tower dive at this point from Young Ben, considering that Golden Jet, he has been low twice thus far. He doesn't have a teleport now. He has to go back. That means he's going to miss out on quite a bit of CS and experience, which means he's going to be put far behind in that top side. I expect to see a dive coming out from Young Ben. But speaking of dive, we have a flash and a stinger on, that's Impale by the way, onto Descraten.
Oh!
And a nice flash and shockwave, but is it going to save him? It is not. Overall, Tickmith does get that kill after using the heal.
Yeah, getting the first blood after a lot was blown by the side of Simon Fraser, but in the end, all you need is to get that gold. Try to get yourself ahead and giving that over to the Talia so that she can continue to shove in this Orianna and then possibly go for roams later into the game. It's a really big win for Simon.
Yeah, so they do pull the trigger first, and they actually do initiate that tower dive. It wasn't a big tower dive, but it did get what was needed. First blood, both summoners down for Descraten. And that is going to be an advantage in the mid lane for Tickmith and Simon Fraser. As we see bot lane Pneumatic using his True Shot Barrage just to clear the wave. Suspect that they may be going back pretty soon. Has 2,600 in his pocket, so can go back and buy up quite a bit of items. Come back a little bit more powerful. Latman also 2,700, so both of them have some shopping to do.
So it's funny, I was just thinking to myself, it's crazy to see how powerful Skarner was on 8.3, but he's even more enabled now. The lack of wards that can come in from UCI since you can't get the Tracker's Knife anymore, plus having the Chilling Smite onto someone who wants to see if they can continually run someone down, only makes it that much scarier for Descraten and for Latman. Almost surprised we didn't see them go for a cleanse to get rid of the stun, not to get rid of the suppression, because you can't get rid of that with the cleanse, just to make it a little bit easier to dodge away from Frozen Knight.
Yeah, and that is something we haven't quite touched on yet, the lack of Tracker's Knife. We did talk about the Baron briefly. We talked about a little bit about the items, but we did not hit on the Tracker's Knife and how that affects the jungle. And yeah, you're right. That has empowered Skarner quite a bit. You're going to see a lot more Skarner once we get into playoffs, unless they decide to change something, which you never know. They could, but at the moment, Skarner in a very comfortable position right now. And that might be why we're seeing Volibear now, too. Young Ben may be experimenting with this now that Tracker's Knife is gone.
Volibear does have a really excellent time in team fights. The knockback that he gets from his E that was added recently gives it a 0.25 knockback, so it does a little bit extra damage, but mid lane.
Yeah, that was a shockwave used by Descraten, but not really much coming out of it. Actually didn't even force anything out of Tickmith. He kept his flash. He's just going to stay safe. He's actually popping a health pot, so that is an ultimate down. That's not going to be used for a gank now, but I guess it did create pressure. Maybe give Tickmith something to think about. Not really sure, but be it as it may, they have a shockwave down.
Well, it's a shockwave down, plus still no summoners for Descritin. So if he shoves in a little bit too far, Tekmith and Frozen Knight can coordinate this pretty effectively. Very little vision coming in the way for UCI, so they can easily utilize a gank mid.
Oh, JL, he's getting eaten up. There's Two-Shot Barrage coming down along with Cosmic Radiance, but again, that's almost like a bait. Just baited that out of Pneumatic and JL, so that is going to, again, be ultimates down on the bot side. There was also heal used from Pneumatic, along with a flash from JL, so some summoners being blown. What's up?
Big win from UCI, in my opinion. Getting 2 summoners out when you don't use anything of your own? Gotta love that.
Oh, here comes the dive on the top side. This time, Descritin is joining them as well. Goldjet, is he going to survive? I don't think he is, but he is going to flash out of his ultimatum. He may get something out of this, but it's only a matter of time. There is the Descritin. He is chasing. Dissonance is going to speed up Young Ben. Who's going to get the kill? That's actually a flash from Young Ben, picking up that kill and securing it in the top side.
But I'd say overall win for Simon Fraser. How long it took them to kill Goldjet easily made it so that Frozen Knight could go into the bot side, get the Ocean Drake, and now they're pressuring to see if they can take down this first tower before it goes down to the top side and get that extra bonus of gold.
Yeah, and I believe three members are going to be able to take down a tower very quickly, more quickly than 2 members, but Goldjet does have his teleport, so he's probably going to be able to keep that alive on the top side. There's not going to be enough pressure and minion control on the bot side to take that turret, so Frozen Knight, he is just going to back off and go into, actually take away a little bit of Young Ben's jungle, knowing that he is top side.
Yeah, but a lot of damage onto that top side tower, so Goldjet's got to be careful since he's been consistently shoved in by Captain Nuke, who's just completed that Righteous Glory. So Dowdy's actually going to look for a dive onto Goldjet and probably look for a roam later on. Try to see if he can help Descritin, who's being consistently shoved in by Tekmith and Frozen Knight, who's making sure to maintain a presence in that lane.
Yeah, we did finally see some action from Young Ben on the top side, but overall, we haven't really seen much ganking in either of these lanes down past the south of the top side. And even then, there's only one time thus far. Young Ben, he's not making his presence felt too hard. He's focusing a lot on farming, but he's still falling behind as far in that regard compared to Frozen Knight. They are even level right now, though, but at the moment, I think he's kind of hesitant pulling the trigger when I think there is some opportunity here for Young Ben.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing about playing on tanks. You don't need as much gold, so even if Skarner's ahead, it's like, oh, he's ahead, but look at the items. He doesn't have anything over Young Ben. The wards haven't been really coming there for him. Young Ben's got 2 control wards to try to see if they can go towards this Rift Herald, most likely get control of that since they're winning in the top lane. Captain Nuke consistently shoving in Goldjet, so it's either you lose your tower or you fight around the Rift Herald at this point.
Yeah, and with the Ocean Drake taken down already, Rift Herald is a prime objective. We do see Young Ben hanging out on the top side. They may look to tower dive this one. Captain Nuke's ult is back up. Is he going to pop it?
Righteous Glory.
Yeah, Righteous Glory is there, but yeah, he popped it, and there it is. There's the knock. There's the knock up. There's the Hextech Ultimatum. Anywhere. I think he is going to take out no, Captain Nuke survived. Never mind. Goldjet going down again. This time, Young Ben. Well, actually, again, Young Ben picking up that kill. That is going to be the first tower of the game.
Oh no!
Oh, hold on, Tekmith. He's gonna weave his wall up to the top side, but that might not be very good. Frozen Knight is up there as well. He's gonna try to kite them out here. Descritin is in top side as well. He has his shockwave, and now Frozen Knight and Tekmith, they are split, and this is not looking good for Simon Fraser. Frozen Knight, he's going down. Descritin picking up that kill. Tekmith, is he going to be slowed? He does not. Captain Nuke cannot land his ability here. Young Ben needs to be careful. Tekmith doing a great job kiting, but that's about all he can do right now. Still gonna try. Yeah, there are a lot of low health bars. Still gonna try. No Weaver's Wall to get him into position. So,
is he looking for a dive? He looked like he was looking for a dive for a second there.
It doesn't look like it did look like he doesn't have his ultimate to do that, but he could use his flash if he wanted to get super aggressive. But they're just gonna stay safe and just drive everyone back. 2 kills picked up overall by UCI on that top side.
All because Captain Nuke didn't die. Had he died, they still would have gotten the tower for UCI, but it could have easily gone back to Simon Fraser. Made it so that it could have been a much more close and even fight. But the fact that you don't lose that Scion, you keep utilizing the amount that he can get from his shields, he can heal up pretty effectively. It's so difficult for Tekmith and Frozen Knight to get onto the backline, to get onto Descritin, and even onto Young Ben, who no longer had his passive during that fight. So, all in all, it was more of a luck-based thing than anything else, if you ask me, because it was so close for everything to sway right into Simon Fraser, but in the end, UCI surviving those last autos, the last hits from the tower, made it so they could turn it all around.
Yeah, that is actually a really good point because Young Ben was very low health that entire time with no regeneration. Captain Nuke was as well, so yeah, very close call by UCI, but they made it work, and now they got a kill for their name. But now it looks like they are looking for revenge. Impale onto Deskerton. He's gonna get the shockwave down, but it's only gonna delay the inevitable. Tickmith picking up that kill. Young Ben and Captain Nuke are in the vicinity now. There's an ultimate on Captain Nuke, but they doesn't want to use it.
Behind.
Yeah, Tarek is behind, but so is Bloodwater. He's going to swim his way, I should say. Swim his way into the back lines here. Gonna eat up the low member Latman, get him into safety. There was a true shot barrage coming along. Big seismic disruption coming out from Tickmith. Are they gonna finally pick up a kill? That is Frozen Knight picking up Young Ben. Latman going down very closely. Tickmith picking up that one. And now there's 5 members strong for SFU in the mid lane. They're gonna get themselves a turret.
This time it was not so lucky for UCI, not able to survive with the ticks of health. When you show all 5 members from Simon Fraser, they showed what they can do. All you have to do is land the pebbles consistently from Talia, and it's going to do a lot of damage. Doesn't matter how tanky you are, you don't have the magic resistance capable of surviving her onslaught of DPS.
Yeah, and does have the Luden's Echo as well, so had a lot of mana to work with there, and very nicely played. I was wondering, honestly, on my screen, I don't know if it's like this for you, but the client is glitched where it looks like Tickmith has no mana right now. I know that's not true. He just went back. So that was actually throwing me off quite a bit there. I was like, he's almost out of mana.
It's the rework for Talia, don't you know? She got rework, no more mana, man.
Well, we need more of those, so that's good. I'm happy about that. The dragon is coming up right now. I believe that is, I don't know, so I'm going to switch down here. That is another Ocean Drake. Yeah, yep. So that'll be the second Ocean Drake for SFU, if they just are able to get that one, or UCI. May want to keep that one away from it. A lot of contention coming around here. 1 turret to 1 right now. Gold is almost even. 1,000 gold gap is the spread here in favor of SFU. As UCI
coming in.
starting onto the dragon. TP is coming in. Weaver's Wall as well. It is secured by UCI though, so there just needs to be an outright. Yeah, there needs to be an outright fight here. There's no way they can get out. Weaver's Wall keeping Deskerton on the other side, but now they took too long to pull the trigger. There is Tickmith on the backside, but Frozen Knight, he goes down. Goldjet, he is going to try to take out Latman here, but there's so much on him, and there's a shockwave to defend him as well. But that is a triple kill overall. Or no, I'm sorry, a double kill coming out for Tickmith. He did pick up the bot lane of UCI. Deskerton going down as well. SFU, they did pick up this fight, so it is worth it for them. There is another kill going up from who's going to pick it up? Pneumatic picking up Captain Nuke. That is a 4 for 1 overall in favor of SFU. Only Frozen Knight falling there.
Wait a minute, I think Captain Nuke, oh man. Sometimes what you can do with the Scion passive is if you have enough damage, you can actually take down one of the buffs, and he'll stay on you through death. So I almost thought that Captain Nuke was going to be able to do that for a second, but this is going back to the point made earlier, with how lucky UCI were that they survived. They felt empowered after that. They felt like they could go for these fights. The problem is there's a little bit better team fight capability coming in from Simon Fraser. When you have Tarek and Camille, both of these 2 powerhouses when it comes to trying to go in for full backline dives. Golden Jet jumped right onto Latman. We saw how much damage he did instantly to that Varsity. And since he's so immobile, he can't get out of there. Even if Bloodwater tries to save him, you can't drag them out of the ultimatum. Then Jail, he just drops the Cosmic Radiance. He's perfectly fine. His team's perfectly happy to continue these long, drawn-out fights.
Yeah, that is one thing, because it started out a little bit hazy for SFU. It looked like they may not have pulled the trigger fast enough, even with the Weaver's Wall cutting Deskerton off, but that was a nice recovery, and yeah, Cosmic Radiance helping out so much there. Tickmith just has so much damage at this point, has the Leandries and the Luden's Echo built up now, so has so much damage, hasn't died yet, and that is the target that UCI need to pick off right now, but at the same time, Latman, you can't have him trapped inside of that dragon pit.
No, and a lot was used just to take down Frozen Knight, so for me, it's all worth for Frozen Knight. His threat, the presence of him being in a fight is enough to make it so that UCI are so scared that he's going to drag Deskerton or Latman into the backline and lose their main potential of damage.
Yeah, and that is the big goal right now. That is the whole point that we see for Skarner in the meta right now. With this Predator, just run into your face, dodge the front line, who cares, bring the back line out to your own team. and hope you survive all of it. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but it does cause the enemy team to use so many abilities on that engage. Yeah, Baron is being snuck here, and yeah, UCI, they're completely caught off guard on the opposite side of the map here.
There should be no way for UCI to actually fight back to this. It's already down to 25% health. So it's going to take a miracle at this point for them to get it.
Yeah, there's the ultimate from Bloodwater, going to bring in Young Ben. Weaver's Wall going to cut them off. So nice. There's a Shockwave onto Frozen Knight, but it's not enough. Cosmic Radiance coming down. Baron goes over to Simon Fraser. There's got to be some sort of disengage. They are pinned into the Baron pit right now. Simon Fraser is. Tickmith doing what he can on the backside. He is dishing out so much damage. Latman trying to counter that damage, but you cannot just be in the face of Tickmith. Nice flip by Young Ben, denying Goldjet the ability to flip over the wall. Overall, no one died but a Baron going over to SFU.
SFU taking the huge win off of that bad misplay from UCI. It's 20 minutes. You cannot have 4 members bot side. Doesn't matter if you think the enemy team can't take it down quickly enough. You're not going to make it in time to stop them from taking the Baron. That's the problem when you don't play around that. You didn't have the proper vision setup. You didn't have the proper wave management in topside or mid to make sure that you could facilitate that attempted dive in the bot lane.
Yeah, and we were talking about how important that is. That, I mean, the Baron got buffed. The Baron minions are extremely durable now. Not vulnerable. They're the opposite of vulnerable. They are durable. They're durable now. You now have a lot more shoving power with the Baron, which is something that was absent last patch and why these games went on so long. This early Baron play is going to play huge for SFU, not just for the gold, but also just the raw power they can push down a turret with now.
Now I want JJL to build a Banner of Command. This might sound like it's a weird thing at first, but how powerful Banner of Command is with the Baron buff after it's gotten that buff is insane. You can take down these towers much quicker than you'd ever imagine. It's so hard for Deskerton, who's going to be the backline wave clear for the team, to get rid of that. It's going to rely on Latman having to go really close to that cannon minion in order to take it down, and that puts him in a vulnerable position, so either Golden Jet or Frozen Knight can pick him off.
Yeah, very interesting. We're going to see what they decide to build here, as we may get an engage or just a Weaver's Wall blocking off everybody, as Tickmith is going to cancel that one, and SFU know that the objectives are far more important than kills, just going to pick up that top lane turret and shove into the inner top lane now.
Pretty easy for them. Just use the Weaver's Wall, cut off Latman, force the Devourer. God, that was a lot of damage.
That was a lot of damage very quickly. Bloodwater getting Latman out of harm's way and into safety of his own base because he has to go back completely, but that means that this turret is for sure going over to SFU as they take that down. They still have a pretty big wave, but it looks like they're going to back off now.
Yeah, they don't need to force anything at the moment. They need to make sure that they're getting control of mid lane, as you can see from Goldjet, putting the minions into a position where they're going to be able to take down this tier 2 pretty effectively, and not much in the way that UCI can fight back. It's so difficult. We saw what Latman happened to him when he went a little bit too far forward.
There, speaking of too far forward, Frozen Knight may have went a little too far forward, but Cosmic Radiance is going to keep him alive. There is Impale. This is time onto Bloodwater. Meanwhile, Goldjet on the back lines, able to lock down Deskerton, and there is Bloodwater going down. Double kill for JL. There's the Portal Combat, and he got a double kill out of it. Captain Nuke trying to flank, but you're a Scion. You ain't flanking anything. And that is the mid lane inhibitor turret going down.
And if it's anything to take note of, Young Ben's nowhere near the team.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Shows how much that they're putting pressure onto this. They feel like this game's already over. They're getting ready for game 2 as Youngvin trying to proxy the wave while Latman got almost dove under 2 Nexus towers. That's a little brutal.
That was a huge amount of damage. Goldjet was the one that was actually camped, by the way, and we see how much that helped. 1, 2, and 7. Still able to dish out a huge amount of damage once he has his Triforce, and he now picks himself up a kill. 227. Dragon is up once again.
Third Ocean.
Third Ocean. This is going to be the second for Simon Fraser.
Gonna be pretty nice. The thing about Ocean Drake that a lot of people didn't realize when it first came out is how much health and mana regeneration you can get so when you go for these sieges, these long drawn out fights that Simon Fraser want to go for, it's gonna make it so that they can get poked out consistently. If Latman is sending these piercing arrows and actually connecting them, it's not gonna matter. They just back off, heal up, go back into the fight. So with this in mind, they're going to easily just reset, they get back, get some more items since they've gotten such a massive gold lead at the moment, take down this bot wave that's been built up over time, and then try to see if they can set it up. They need to make sure that they're getting the wave management, the control, setting up bot lane especially now that they want to go and get this either bot lane last outer or go and open up the top lane inhibitor.
A lot of options on the side of SFU because the game is firmly in their control with a 9k gold lead, a 4 turret lead, not to mention the 2 out of 3 Drakes as well. All of them being Ocean. They got 2 of them. So it is SFU's game to drop right now. And I do want to remind everybody this is a best of 3. So yeah, you mentioned earlier, it's about this point where you think about game number 2, think what you did wrong, and make corrections from there.
Ban Camille. That's what I'm saying. we saw what happened. You don't ban Camille. You camp Camille. You try to set her back. Did that work?
Doesn't seem so.
Does not seem so at all. This is why she's touted as being the strongest top laner in the meta, because it doesn't matter how much pressure you put on her, eventually she'll get items. She'll get the Triforce, the Ravenous Hydra, and she is going to dominate anybody who comes up there. Captain Nuke can no longer 1v1 her, because she will be able to get solo kills on him now.
Yeah, this is going to be a trigger being pulled very quickly, as you were talking about. One of the turrets being taken. It is going to be bot lane right now. And look at that! Banner command! We saw it!
It's like I read the patch notes. I understood what's going on. Man, I'm good.
Hey! Seeing that on full display here.
It's also, I watched the video, I think, when it was on the PvE. Someone did it. They did a little bit tweak so it couldn't be as powerful. But with the Baron buff, they put it onto with the banner of command, they put it onto cannon minion, and it took down a tower in 3 shots.
That's actually insane.
Yes. So it doesn't quite do it that now, because that was too brutal, but it's still pretty strong. It chunks towers.
Even if they doubled that to 6 shots, that is still pretty insane.
But and it's the cannon with Baron, so it's way back there too. Yeah. You're not getting anywhere near that.
Yeah, and that is the big thing right now. That is why Baron is so contested at the moment, because you can get that cannon-empowered minion and pelt down these turrets, and now they can do it even more because JL does have banner command. So privy to that strategy, and Baron will be up in 30 seconds. We see Frozen Knight establishing vision control around the area. It is going to be very difficult for UCI to establish any vision control because if they step out, they more than likely will get picked off because they are far behind in gold, which means they are far behind in items, which means magical. They are far behind in power.
Exactly, it does. And that's just where I was looking at it. It's actually interesting looking at Frozen Knight's build. Didn't go for the Righteous Glory. Instead, opting to be a lot tankier into these fights. Dead Man's Plate. Lock it up the Iron Solari so that you can get the extra shields for the team. He clearly knows what he's doing, and maybe he could help out.
Yeah, nice Weaver's Wall. Gonna separate Deskerton, I'm sorry, and Youngbin completely away from his team. Dropping that one. Goldjet able to launch himself in the back lines, pick up Latman as well. Bloodwater going to go down, going to pop that shield, but it's only delaying the inevitable. I think I've said that more than once this game because these deaths are coming from a mile away.
Baron?
Right, yeah. Who needs Baron when you have Cosmic Radiance, when you have Goldjet just destroying everybody, when you have Tickmith at 6-0-7. This is the game number 1 and a best of 3 going over to Simon Fraser, and it looked like they had University of California, Irvine completely figured out here.
Giving them their first loss of the entire college LOL tournament. This is Simon Fraser showing why they were able to upset UBC and UCI last year to become the Western champions. And with the only one change in the mid lane, they're a complete unit. They play so well together when it comes to these team fights. That was a great showing from them on why they are one to be trifled with.
Yeah, very much so. There's a lot to be worked around for UCI, and especially in the pick and ban phase. Looks like they gave up Camille. I mean, that was a big pick in the first place. Goldjet is very comfortable on her apparently, so I definitely expect to see that Camille ban this time around. But we're gonna see, we're definitely gonna see what we get into as we set up for game number 2. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest. I'm here with Alex Mad Magical Wielden, and we will be back in just a moment.